Alright, welcome back to Flight Sim 2020 and welcome to a beautiful early morning here at Kilimanjaro International Airport. This is Neofly episode 8, and in today's video, if you remember back to episode 7, we started here in the we started setting up a route network in the Masai Mara, and one of our bases is here at Kilimanjaro, which is in Tanzania. And we started doing some charter flights around the Mara using the Trilander. I'm just going to pretend this door's open. But what I said in that video is that we would probably start running something a little bit bigger in the next episode to start ferrying some of our cargo and some of our staff to the various lodges and things like that. That's the plan for today's video. So as we get out onto the apron here, you'll see that the aircraft we're going to fly, it is probably, in fact, I think it is the biggest aircraft we've flown so far in our Neofly series, and it's our latest addition to the Salt Air fleet. So as we kind of turn out to the right here, it's behind the trees. Well, we'll get a glimpse of it shortly. Morning, you just, oh, wow, okay, run away. Anyway, as we get around here, let's maybe walk a little bit quicker. Our flight today is going to take us from here at Kilimanjaro over to Musiara HK48. There is our de Havilland -7 in cool inter-air livery. So let's pretend we bought this from an old school inter-air operation. We're going to take it here from Kilimanjaro up to HK48. We've got a load of, well, we have 42 passengers, so maximum on the -7 is 50. We've got 42 this morning, and we are going to take, it's 42 staff members and workers of the lodges in the area. So we're going to ferry them out. Look both ways before we cross the road. Okay, we're going to ferry them out to Musiara, and from there they will be kind of distributed to the different lodges using the Islanders and Trilanders and Kodiaks. We're not going to be doing that. In fact, what we're doing is, once we get to Musiara, we are picking up our H-160 helicopter, and then we will be going around to some of the different actually, let's leave that open for now. We will be going around to some of the lodges, picking up some VIP passengers that have been out staying at the different safari areas. We're going to be picking them up, bringing them back to, in fact, we're taking them to Mara Serena, I think, and kind of collecting them all there to get on board one of our new aircraft, which is going to take VIP passengers between the Masai Mara and here at Kilimanjaro and Nairobi International as well. That will be flying another new aircraft for the series and for the channel. We'll be flying in episode 9. So we've got quite a bit of work to do today. The sun is just coming up, so I think it's time to just start getting powered up, and then we can get our passengers boarding. This is going to be the first time I'm flying the -7 on the channel. I've done like a couple of test flights, so we're not doing any super kind of exaggerated procedures or trying to be as realistic as possible. We're kind of just going to have some fun flying today and get things running as best we can. So the first thing I do need to do is obviously get power. So let's turn on the batteries and generators. Okay, we don't have external power today. Right, that's all good. We can put on our collision light because we're going to start the engines, and we'll put on our position light as well. We've got fuel in all 4 tanks. We've got kind of less fuel in our 2 and 3, so we need to keep an eye on that as we go. This is okay for now, but we will arm our emergency exit lights. Turn on the no smoking and fasten seatbelt signs for when the passengers board. Now we can't start the engines until our passengers are on board because that's a little dangerous. So let's maybe get our passengers boarding. Those condition levers should be down, and then we'll set up our route while they do that.
This is the final boarding call for passengers. Please proceed to Gate 3 immediately. The final checks are being completed, and the captain will order for the doors of the aircraft to close in approximately 5 minutes' time.
Okay, let's check our compass. So we're just over 12, or just under 12, and we're just under 12 there as well. That's probably fine.
Including duty-free bags and liquids under the seat in front of you. Our cabin crew are available to assist.
Okay, GPS is busy aligning.
Thank you for your attention. It's time to get you ready for takeoff. We know you have lots of choices, so thanks for being American.
Right, while we wait for that to synchronize with its satellites, let's just double check that's all good. Right, so we're going to be cruising at 12,500 feet today, so we can dial that in as well. And I'm going to guess that our takeoff runway is going to be runway 9, because we've only ever used 9 here at Kilimanjaro. I can't see the wind cycle. I think it's just there behind us. There isn't another one. No. Okay, so we'll see as we taxi out. But we're going to plan for runway 9 because I've never actually used the other runway. The wind always seems to come from the east, and runway 9 is just a bit lower. I think it's 88 or 82. We'll obviously sync it up perfectly once we get onto the runway. Right, our route for today takes us from here. Kilimanjaro is HTA J. And we're going to Musiaro, which is HK 48. Right, that is set. We'll flip this over. 317, we want to set over here. Now this, okay, it did toggle. Sometimes you have to just click it more than once. Right, so we're on GPS now, and that should say GPS there, which is cool. That is set. Now, in the most recent update of the Dash 7, they've introduced this beta range, which makes taxiing a lot easier, but it does mean that you don't want to have your throttle set all the way down, because that's actually not reverse, but just beta. So we actually want to set that to idle, otherwise our prop RPMs kind of skyrocket as we start the engines. Right, then I think we are good to go. Everyone's on board. We do need to head back there and close the door. Is there a faster way to move? Not really. Yeah, we'll just pretend that these seats are full of people. Okay, door closed. I can just do that now. We don't have to watch that whole thing. Right. I'm going to put the condition levers in yellow. And we'll go ahead and start engine 4 first. Double check that everything is clear around us, which all looks good. Let's go ahead and start engine 4. Yeah, one thing I didn't actually do for Neofly is just check this. So this takes a bit of tweaking on the Dash 7 because we're going to be pretty much full, but you'll see that'll give us out of CG. So there, Neofly, we've just turned green. So what we need to do is set this to 1,000, and we need to put some more weight here in the front. Something like that. We're missing a bit, so we need some more weight here still. even more. Right, that gets us green in Neofly, and we're just inside our limits because we've got quite a lot of fuel on board as well. Right, engine 4 is stable. Let's get engine 3 spinning. Okay, engine 3 is coming up, so we can start up engine 2. And finally, engine 1. Okay, we'll give those a bit of a chance to stabilize. Okay, let's turn off the starter and set that back to off, and we can turn on the engine bleeds. That all looks good. Those are on. Pitot heats we need on. Okay, obviously strobes and landing lights will turn on once we get to the runway, but our taxi lights can come on. And then we'll do altitude select. Right, that's all fine. And heading mode. And there we get our flight directives, and we'll double check that heading once we get to the runway. But just looking at our prop RPMs, we did actually set our throttle correctly, which is cool. Let's go ahead and release the brake. We should slowly start moving forwards. In the previous version, you had to ride the brakes a lot because the aircraft just wanted to shoot forward. Now that we've got that beta range, I can just back my throttles off a little bit, and you'll see we start going into beta and actually producing reverse thrust so that we don't taxi so fast. It does make the engines quite a bit louder though. Right, windsock does appear to be favoring runway 9. So we'll make our way out there, and we can set our flaps for takeoff as well. In fact, we've got a super long runway today. We can do flaps 1. Okay, a little bit of cloud out there actually. And we're going out that way. I was going to do this VFR, so maybe we could get through that gap there. But we might actually have to change that plan a bit. We're approaching the runway. Windsock is definitely telling us we're on the correct one. So we can go landing lights and strobes. Double check that, that's all good. So one thing I don't actually know is with the anti-collision light, when do you use red and when do you use white? Right, we'll set this guy to flight. That's checked. Our heading is pretty much perfect. Possibly give it 1 or 2 clicks this way. Right, here we go. Okay, we'll come out of that beta range now, and then we'll see our props start to come up again. Oh, no, we've missed a very crucial step here. Is we need to actually go full on the condition levers. That's a bit better. Alright, keep an eye on our temperatures here. Make sure that we keep those in the green. Okay, there we go. That's our power set. There's 100 knots. And we are airborne. We can get the gear up. Right, we'll just pitch for a gentle climb here so we can build up some speed. We can get the flaps up at this point. I'll see if I can get us to climb out at about 150 knots. We'll just do a kind of gentle climb up to 12.5. There's 140, that's probably fine. So let's go IAS. We'll get the autopilot on. Come down here, turn on the yaw damper. And then we can dial our heading around. Just keep an eye on those clouds. Right, we got to go through that. Yeah, we might actually have to switch to IFR here. Okay, in reality, we probably would have done this on the ground. But we're gonna switch over to an IFR flight plan. Obviously, I'm not doing any simulated ATC or anything, so it's not that big a deal actually in the sim. But what we will do is we'll then go up to 14,000. I think we could sneak through at 12, but 14 is gonna be safer. Right, and now we just need to get onto that GPS track, and that's going to take us through the clouds. Okay, I'll back the condition levers off a little bit. Right, one thing to remember flying in this area of the world is that we need to be alert for pockets of weather, storms, that kind of thing. I mean, this is all just a little bit of clouds, it's chilled. But where it gets thicker out that way, we just need to keep an eye on the weather. Because in an aircraft like the Dash 7 at 14,000 feet, which obviously we can go higher, but at 14,000 feet we're flying in the weather. And that can be quite unpleasant. Okay, we're coming up to our GPS course now. Let's go ahead and engage nav mode. And we're climbing out about 850 feet per minute. So I mean, it's not a massive climb rate, but it's steady at least. Okay, we don't need the taxi lights anymore, so we can turn those off. Passing through 7,000. Right, and there we go in the Dash 7, making our way to the Masai Mara. Okay, so we're on our GPS course. We have alt select on IAS and we've backed off our props, so everything looks good. So I think what we can do is do a bit of a time lapse of us making our way up to the Mara, and then I'll join you guys again when it's time to prep for our descent and make our way into Musiara. So Musiara's got a pretty long runway, but it is a dirt runway. And then obviously we just need to kind of keep our eye on the weather as we go as well. It should be fine this side. It's generally that side in the Mara where it becomes more of an issue, where we've got to get into these dirt strips, as we saw in the last episode with the Islander, where we had to kind of dodge a couple of little weather cells in order to get in and out of the different airstrips. So we'll keep an eye on that as well, but I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so a little bit more cloudy than I expected, but it opens up nicely. It's cloudy out that way and a bit out that way, but it opens up nicely up ahead. So we're going to start our descent into the Mara region. So we'll just turn that on, I'll select. We can start backing off the throttle. And I think the airstrip's about 2,000 feet. I was actually, while we were cruising along, I was trying to find information about the altitude of the airstrip, and I couldn't find anything. I think, if I remember correctly, it's around 2,000. Does our GPS actually have some info? So this would be the best bet. So let's see. Zero. It's not at 0 feet. Okay. So yeah, information not so easy to find on these airstrips. Okay, so we've got about 4 minutes to go, which means we do kind of need to descend a bit quicker. So let's disengage IS, we'll engage vertical speed, and we can pitch down a bit. At least the beta thing is not active when you're in the air. So that was one of the things I was worried about. So I can quite comfortably just pull my throttles back without worrying about braking the engines or anything. So that's very cool. Okay, as we're coming through 10,000 feet, landing lights can come on. 3 minutes to go. Well, we're very lucky, no clouds out here where we're landing, because at this point we'd probably, well, we would have to switch over to VFR once we have the airfield in sight. I mean, that's assuming there is even anyone to talk to out here. As we were cruising along, I was a bit worried that we were going to have some thick cloud cover over this whole area, but luckily it is all open here. Alright, just under 2 minutes to go, so we should start to see it shortly. And the runway, I believe, is like this. So we'll probably overfly and come in from this side. In fact, the wind normally blows this way, so maybe we'll overfly right-hand turn and come in like that. Okay, there's the runway there. So yeah, we'll go over and we'll come in from this side. I want to see if we can maybe spot the windsock as we fly over, but that's normally not so easy to do in Flight Sim. Right, what we'll do is switch over to heading mode. Okay, runway 8. 8 left and 26 right. I don't think there's 2 runways. Okay, so I've just done a bit of an orbit around so that we can reduce our altitude and see if we can actually spot a windsock here. Yes, we can. All right, we need to approach from behind us, which is what I thought. Okay, that's cool. So we're going to start slowing down even more here. And we'll go out over the river. Whoa. We'll go out over the river. And then come back runway 8. I actually want to increase my altitude a bit here. I probably want to be around 6,000. Yeah, now we need to be careful as well, because in front of us is another airstrip, so we don't want to get confused and land the wrong one, because I've almost done that before. It's just off that side over there, which is also an airstrip that we operate out of, but not where we're trying to go today. Some elephants and things down there. The camp. Right. I don't know if it's the wind or something, but the aircraft just wants to nosedive into the ground. And now I'm a bit low because of that, so I can't really see the runway. Okay, there it is. Oh, right, I've overshot a bit. Yeah, we might have to do this again. I'm used to flying in and out here in like the Kodiak, which has such a good turning radius. Okay, no. We need to set this approach up a lot more efficiently. Okay, let's get up. We're only 500 feet above the ground, so that's why we're struggling to see. So let's bring it up. So we probably want to should aim for about 1500. Yeah, okay, the wind is pumping down this way, so we definitely need to land from this direction. going to keep climbing. We want to be about 1,500 feet. Coming up to 1,000 now at 6,000. So we're going to go up to about 6.5. And then we need to set this up a lot better. Give us some more space to turn here. Okay, so we'll extend this a bit. Right, and this is my first time flying the dash into these airstrips, so I'm not surprised that we've run into some difficulties. Okay, I'm coming up to 6,500 now, where we can try and hold this. There's the other airstrip ahead of us, which is not where we're going. Okay, keep an eye on that little watering hole next to the airstrip. That's a nice, easier indicator. Which I can see just there. And I mean, we're not flying crazy fast. We're only doing 120 knots. It's just that this thing has quite a big turning radius. It's just quite slow to roll and turn. Okay, I have that watering hole in sight. Okay, I need to just not drop the nose so much in the turn. I think I can see the runway there. Yes, I can. Right, gear down, green light, flaps full. And I have the runway in sight. Keep it on about 100 knots. It is kind of gusty, so we need to be a little bit cautious. Otherwise, things are looking good. It's got big flaps, this aircraft, so we're using quite a lot of power with flaps full. Yeah, this also means we're going to have the long taxi all the way back to the little apron, which is on this side. Okay, we'll start reducing the power.
Transporter from dispatch. Nice landing. Go to the parking and put your parking brake on. I'll be in touch.
Transporter from dispatch. Clear the runway and taxi to parking.
Wow, that reverse sound is not great. Okay, let's flip this over to taxi. You can also get the flaps up. Nice, some Ellie's and Giraffe at the waterhole. Right, interesting. So we've got to give the dash quite a bit more space than I anticipated for coming into the airport. I wonder if it's normal that the prop RPM goes so high when you're in beta. Let's just watch this fence here. Now, in reality, there wouldn't be these like tug vehicles and stuff here. These Land Cruisers here for sure would be here to collect our passengers. So we will stop like here somewhere. And we can go ahead and shut down, turn on landing lights and strobes and things.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign has been turned off. Please ensure that you have all your personal belongings with you as you leave the aircraft. Also remember that smoking is only permitted in designated areas of the airport. You may now use your mobile and electronic devices if you wish to do so. Thank you and good afternoon.
Yeah, so we'll just come back here and open up for the passengers. The seatbelt signs can come off, all of this off. Right, and we can actually switch batteries off. Okay, so we're going to leave this aircraft here for a bit.
Transporter from dispatch. Disembarkation completed. Thank you. See you soon for another mission.
Right, and then we'll actually be operating out of here a little bit later. And there's our awesome Dash 7. We'll be operating out of here a little bit later in the H160, and we're gonna be flying to some of the lodges just around here, collecting some VIP passengers, bringing them back here. The Dash is gonna go with another pilot back to Kilimanjaro, and then I think it's actually going on an airline flight over to Nairobi, but I'll double check that once we're in the chopper. So that's our plan. So we're gonna just sort out some stuff with our passengers and then get our H160 prepped, and then we'll be out to, I think it's 3 1 2 yeah, 3 different lodges that we're going to. So we're going to go to the lodge back here, to the other lodge back here, to the other lodge back here again, bringing all the passengers together, and we'll be kind of collecting them to go out on a flight in episode 9 back to Kilimanjaro. So I'll see you in a bit when it's time to prep the H160. Alright, so we've just finished up some paperwork. The Dash 7 is on its way back to Kilimanjaro. The H160 is now here, and we're going to go and prep for our first leg. We're going to Mara Buffalo. Now, there's no passengers going out there. We are collecting passengers from these lodges and bringing them back here. But we are going to take a bit of cargo out there, or well, we've got some equipment that needs to go out to the lodge, so we're going to be taking that with us. So it's just going to be us in the chopper for this first leg, which is only going to be a couple of minutes. Right, let's get this closed. Right, we can turn all of these guys on. Okay, that's all good. These can come on.
Audio test.
Right, check that we have above 24 volts, which we do. We'll get signs on even though we don't have anyone in here. We can arm those. We'll put these guys on, and same with the position lights. And then we can probably go ahead and start firing up. This needs to be on. Okay, let's go and start engine 2. Okay, we don't even need to program this into the GPS. We're going over there. So nice and simple for our first flight. Okay, pre-flight test is okay. Okay, we're pretty much good to go. Now we'll just wait for the RPM to stabilize. Okay, let's release the parking brake. Right, we are clear on all sides. And we'll just taxi out to the runway. Just so we don't cover everything on the apron here in dust as we go.
Okay, here we go, nicely into the wind, and we'll make the short flight out to Buffalo.
Have a nice flight. Just to remind you, we're not paying you for this one.
Okay, let's start our turn out towards Buffalo, and we can bring the gear up as well, which we could have actually brought up a little earlier. Okay, nice and simple departure. Weather looks good. There's a couple of clouds scattered around, but nothing too serious. Back behind us towards Kilimanjaro looks quite thick again, which we saw this morning when we came through in the Dash 7. But for our little flights around here, everything looks pretty chilled. Right, so we're just a couple minutes out from Buffalo, so we'll see. We do have some passengers that need to come back to Musiara, where we just took off from. And then after that, I think we've got a bunch that need to go to other places as well. So we'll kind of just have a look at what's going on. The actual charter passengers are going from Buffalo back to Musiara. And then I think we have some from Angama as well, which is just up there on the ridge. They're going to Musiara too, in order to head back to Kilimanjaro. But then we also always have some equipment and cargo and stuff that often needs to be flown around to the different airports. So we'll see if there's anything else that we can possibly take from the airports that we land at as well. Nice and bumpy. It is getting into the afternoon, so temperature is coming up. Outside air temperature is 25, so not crazy at the moment. And if you watched the previous episode, this airport that we're coming up to now is where we started the episode off. That was obviously in the Trilander. Thought we might be able to see the airport already. I think I can see the runway up ahead. Alright, we're going down to the other end of the runway. And we'll land on the runway again so we don't cover our guests in dust, or we create as little dust as possible. And then we'll kind of just taxi to the end.
Caution, terrain.
Probably could have landed a bit closer than this.
You greased that landing. Ace. Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your engine.
Now I think this helicopter actually might work differently to the others in Neofly, because like when we flew the H125 and stuff, we had to shut down completely. But because this aircraft has a parking brake, we might be able to just put it into idle, engage the parking brake, and we can hopefully load our passengers while we're at idle, so we don't have to shut down completely. So again, for dust reasons, we'll stay on the runway. So if we engage the parking brake, yeah, I think we might actually have to shut down the engines anyway. Okay, we shall shut down.
Start your engine. Right, then we have a full load, 12 passengers all going back
Greetings from the tower. We
to
have a number of passengers
HK48.
that need assistance to board. Please confirm you are ready to receive them. Pilot from dispatch.
And that's going to put
Boarding
us
passenger. Please stand by.
full up. So there we are at 97% payload. Right, then we can come back here and turn these people back on. "12 passengers.
Transporter from dispatch. Everyone is on board. Let's go.
Right, let's go back to idle.
You're good to go. Contact the tower for
We're going
clearance.
back over there to HK48, which is nice and simple. We're going to take off straight ahead though into the wind. Slightly out over the trees, and we'll do a right-hand turn back out that way. Okay, engines are stable, aircraft is good to go. Leave the parking brake on for this takeoff. And let's head back. Oh wow, we are nice and heavy. Feel a huge difference.
Have a safe trip. We hope you enjoyed your stay here. We'll look forward to welcoming you back soon.
Alright, coming up to 60 knots, we can bring the gear up. Power is set. It looks like with those clouds out there, we might actually get some weather coming through here in the afternoon. And that's when we'll be flying these passengers back to Kilimanjaro. So we might have some afternoon storms to deal with on our way back, but that's okay. That's just the name of the game out here when we're flying in this sort of area. Okay, so we're dropping these passengers at Musiara and then back. Well, sorry, not back to Buffalo. We're going out to Angama, which is the next airstrip. Now, Ngama is an interesting airstrip to get into. It's on top of the ridge there, and it's got quite a lot of trees around it. So at the moment, the only aircraft that operate in and out of there are the Kodiaks, because the runway is long enough for like the Islanders and Trilanders, but because of the trees, you can't actually use the whole runway. Now that also might be a flight sim thing, where the tree positions are just much closer to the airport than they actually are. The other thing is, a lot of these airstrips, including the one we just came from, no, not Buffalo, the one we're going to, you'll see there's like little helipads, but they're too small for the H160. You can't fit all 3 wheels on the helipad. Kind of, you end up falling off either in the front or at the back. So that's why we're just using the apron. If you're on the 125 or something, you can fit on the helipads nicely. Right, airstrip is just up ahead and to the right. We're going to do a bit of a circle around and land into the wind, which is coming from pretty much straight down this runway here on this side. Same as when we took off just a few minutes ago. They're the little helipads off to our right.
Warning, terrain. Caution, terrain.
We are heavy, so we're pushing the torque a little bit too much here. Actually want to ditch the parking brake.
You greased that landing, Ace. Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your engine.
Right, same again, we'll shut down.
Transporter, you can open the doors and begin the disembarkation.
Traffic.
Transporter from dispatch. Disembarkation completed. Thank you. See you soon for another mission.
You can start your engine now.
Okay, so that's all the passengers disembarked. So now we'll quickly head over to Angama and pick up some passengers from there. Okay, engines are started up. Who wants to bet that that fire engine is going to come and drive straight through us? Okay, we're once again nice and light because we've got no passengers on board. Okay, cool. He's chilling over there. Right, so now we're going to Angama, which is not this one, it's that one over there. Right, here we are, facing into the wind. Let's go ahead and make our way once again out of Musiara. We'll fly over the little waterhole, which has
flight pilot. You can search for more jobs after you land.
some elephants, some giraffe, There's flamingos in there. I think there might be hippo as well. No, just no hippos. Flamingos, elephants, and giraffe. Okay, year's coming up. Let's set our power. We'll be nice and fast now because we're so light. And we also need to climb because we need to get up on top of the ridge. So one thing I also want to do is get the helicopter out, land at some of these little picnic spots and stuff, and camps, and see what airports it picks it up as, so we can do operations in and out of those little campsites. There are a couple that actually have helipads. Again, this is too big. We'd have to do the 125 or something to get into those helipads, or maybe the MD500. Because I haven't actually flown that on the channel at all. It's another one of our airstrips that we operate in and out of. Right, I think the actual campsite is somewhere near this cliff face here, if not just behind it. And there's the airstrip just to the right of the cliff, and obviously behind it. Yeah, that's the actual camp there. There's no helipad out here, if I remember correctly, because the airstrip is right here. Okay, wind is coming from behind us. So you can see what I mean about the trees. And the wind is generally favoring this runway. But at the other end of the runway, the trees are really close, kind of like they are on the sides here. Which makes getting the slightly bigger aircraft in and out here quite difficult. Which is why only the Kodiaks operate to this airport. And it's, in fact, the landing is generally okay. It's taking off that they struggle to clear the trees in time.
Nice landing, pilot. Transporter from dispatch. Clear the runway and taxi to parking.
Don't drive into me, please. Can we just have one video? Maybe. Right, let's drop these passengers off here. We can set the parking brake, and once again we'll shut down.
Let's go.
Right, let's see what we have in terms of passengers from here. Right, so our passengers from here actually need to go to Buffalo, not back to Musiara. So we're going to load up. We've got 11 passengers for Buffalo.
Hi, pilot. New mission, new passengers. Let me know when you are ready to start boarding.
Actually, we've got 12.
Pilot from dispatch. Boarding passenger. Please stand by.
So it's two groups, a group of 11 and a group of 1. So we'll take them out to Buffalo and then make our way back to Musiara. And in fact, if we head out to Buffalo, there's probably going to be more passengers that want to head from Buffalo to Musiara anyway.
Hi, pilot. New mission, new passengers. Let me know when you are ready to start boarding. Pilot from dispatch. Boarding passenger. Please stand by.
You can start your engine now.
So interesting, let's see. I've started engine 1 first this time, and the torque has come up normally. Let's see if
Everything looks good from where I'm
engine
sitting.
2's torque
Taxi
comes
to
up
the
normally,
runway
which it
and
looks
take
like it isn't. So it seems to just be the second engine that you start. The torque doesn't actually come up until you put them into flight mode. Oh, there we go. No, it's still hovering around 5.5. Very weird. Okay, so quick flight over to Buffalo, which is... Musiara is there, so Buffalo's down there. We're going to fly along the ridgeline. In fact, maybe what we should do is jump down to the river and then fly along the river. That might be kind of cool. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, we do need to set our payload though. Cool, there we go. 90% payload. for this flight. Okay, parking brake is set. We're going to go ahead and take off that way. Yeah, it wants to go into the wind.
Pilot, have a nice flight.
Alright, so we'll head down to the river, and we can actually follow the river all the way along to Mara Buffalo. There's some elephant down there. And the rocks that float for some reason. Here's one of the camps. Don't think this one has helipads. Doesn't look like it. There are a couple that do though. There's another bigger one here. Don't see any helipads there either, although I think they're further back out there. But it might even be over there. Here's another one on this side. how's the weather looking? It's still good. The clouds are still pretty far away. So no issues with weather. That is Buffalo over there we're heading to. Okay, so same again. We'll touch down, maybe not so soon, on the runway, and then taxi out to the opposite end. Okay, gears down, we got green lights. Okay, it still probably touched down a little bit further back than we really needed. That's not the end of the world. Okay, I should also just engage the parking brake.
Hi, pilot. New mission, new passengers. Let me know when you are ready to start boarding.
Right, last leg of the day. We'll be taking 10
Pilot
passengers
from dispatch. Boarding passenger. Please stand by.
from here back to Musiara, and then we are done for this morning's or this afternoon for the helicopter flying, and then we will prep some of those passengers to go back on a new aircraft which will arrive later this afternoon, and we will be flying that aircraft across to back to Kilimanjaro in the next episode.
Head count complete. Everyone is accounted for.
Cool.
Time to take off.
Passengers are on board.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
All right, let's go ahead and get out of Mara Buffalo on our last leg today. So still fairly heavy. We've got 10 total passengers out of 12. So we're not quite full up, but still a significant amount of weight. Let's just be careful on the torque.
Good flight.
Okay, we can bring up the gear and make our loop around to the right. Head back to HK 48. Definitely does look like we're going to have some afternoon weather to contend with. Which is cool. We get these charter flights out of the way in the morning. And then in the afternoon, with the aircraft that we can do IFR, obviously we can quite happily do IFR in this helicopter. It's just that we don't really want to be flying around in the storms if we can avoid it. Even now it's getting quite bumpy. Temperature is still 25, so not ridiculously hot. But then we can operate the IFR flights in the afternoons. 1:30. So 1:30 local time, so like it is afternoon, technically. It's interesting that the temperature is actually not higher than 25 at 1:30. Obviously not a super hot day in the Mara today. We do have our aircon on. It's one of the reasons we operate the H160 for these lodge charter guests, because it is nice and comfortable. But still, it's got aircon, it's very comfortable, nice and fancy. You compare that to something like, I don't know if the Islanders have aircon. Still a very cool aircraft, but not quite as fancy. The Kodiaks have aircon, so they're pretty comfortable as well. Yeah, we'll come from the other side this time. Give our passengers a bit of a view of the animals at the waterhole.
brake on. I'll be in touch.
Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your engine.
Okay, and there we are with our last charter of the day. We'll drop these guys off and then we can chill until later this afternoon, where we'll be taking some VIP passengers back to Kilimanjaro. Okay, set the parking brake, and we're going to go ahead this time and shut everything down. Cool, that's all done. We're just waiting for the download to finish, and then we can go ahead and shut down. Well, shut down, as in switch off batteries and things.
All the passengers have disembarked. Good job. See you soon.
You are clear to start your engine.
Okay, download is complete. So let's go ahead and switch off our batteries. And there we go. That's going to bring us to the end of episode 8 of our Neofly series, flying a couple of charters. We did do our first operation in the Dash 7, which we'll have more of those to come. We're going to start doing some airline runs in the Dash 7s. Over to places like Nairobi and stuff like that. Then I want to get some ATRs operating out here as well out of Kilimanjaro. And of course I want to move into A320s and 737s operating in and out of Kilimanjaro as well. But still quite a way to go for that. At the moment, all of the aircraft that we're operating, I own outright. I'm not leasing anything. I'm saving up next to buy the ATR that we can operate from Kilimanjaro. But anyway, that is going to bring us to the end of episode 8. Be sure to tune in for episode 9 to see the new aircraft that we're going to operate from here back to Kilimanjaro. It's one that I'm really excited for. Been waiting for it for quite a while in Flight Sim. So it is a new release for Flight Sim, fairly new when this video comes out. At the moment, it's been out for only a couple of days. But yeah, very excited for that. And we're going to be using that aircraft quite a lot around this area as well. But anyway, if you made it all the way to this part of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.